Jessica, why don't you start by telling us a bit more about Child of the Hive?
Child of the Hive is an action story set in the very near future. It's about the conflict between two secret organisations, the Hive and the Beaks, and the central characters are those that get caught in the middle and are forced to choose a side.
Child of the Hive is soon to be released as an ebook version. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm really excited. Firstly because it means it'll be able to reach a wider range of people, a greater audience, but also because it makes sense with the story. The book is about how people deal with the future of technology, the cutting edge, so it makes sense that the story is published in a format that is the cutting edge of the publishing industry.
What was your inspiration for this book?
It's difficult to say. I don't remember anything specifically inspiring me. I just started with the idea for two of the central characters, Will and Sophie. I knew that the character of Will was in hiding. I knew that he was in hiding from two groups, one of whom would generally be considered to be the good guys. I've also had the idea of Sophie for a very long time, a girl sitting silently, never saying a word, just colouring in patterns on paper. From these two characters, the whole story blossomed. I just started asking the question, why? Why is Sophie drawing those patterns? Why is Will hiding? Why are they after him? And from that, the whole adventure just formed.
What sort of books do you read yourself?
Quite a range of things. Most of what I read tends to be science fiction or fantasy adventures. Things like The Serrano Legacy by Elizabeth Moon, or the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. But I also read different types of adventures, so thrillers, classic adventures. I love the Scarlet Pimpernel series. But I do read a mixture of other things. I'll frequently go into Oxfam bookshops, charity bookshops, and buy books of a type I wouldn't normally choose, just so I get a feel for different types of writing styles.
And who's enjoying Child of the Hive?
A lot of different people. I was quite surprised by the range. I was invited in to speak to a school and was surprised and delighted to find out that a group of people in their Year 7 reading group were reading it and loving it. And that's much younger than I'd have thought it would appeal to. But on the other hand, there are people significantly older than I am who've read it and loved it. So all sorts of different people. I was also astonished to find out that it's being stocked in a library in Australia.
And what are people saying about it?
Generally, different things, so different people like different aspects of it. There does tend to be a bit of an age range, so generalising here, but the younger readers tend to like the adventure, the action that's predominant in the first half of the book, whereas many of the older readers love some of the more emotional aspects at the end. I had a wonderful review for the book on a site called Mr. Ripley's Enchanted Books, and I was also thrilled to find out that it was being recommended on a BBC site as an action book for teens.
And what made you decide to be a writer?
I don't remember ever making a decision. It's something that I've always loved. I've always enjoyed making up stories, telling stories, deriving plots. So I think I've known for as long as I've been able to hold a pen that I was going to be writing something. And I've tried dabbling in poetry, I've dabbled in short stories, but my true enjoyment has always come to novels.
And is Child of the Hive the first book that you've written?
The first one that's been published. I started writing novels from about the age of 11, and it's not surprising that a book I wrote at 11 was not really ready to be published. So I had a couple more attempts between then and now. Child was the first one that, after writing the first draft, I thought really deserved revising and turning into a proper published novel.
And what's next? Is there anything in the pipeline?
So what's next is actually a technical book on electronic forms that I've written through work. but I will always be writing stories. So you'll just have to wait and see.